How's it going, Martians? Welcome back to another video, second video of the day, and in this one we're going to be going over an article from U.Today titled XRP Fans Rejoice! Bank of America names Ripple as an innovative technology maker. So this article is written by Yuri Molchan, and it starts off, one of the world's largest and most influential banks, Bank of America, BOA, admits that Ripple offers a truly innovative solution and mentions it in a report. However, despite the good news for the Ripple community, whether it will impact the XRP price positively remains in question. And let's be honest, it's not going to impact the XRP price because, by and large, I believe personally, a little bit of conjecture, I believe that as a community, we've kind of priced in this market as best we can. And so it doesn't matter what good news we hear at this point. The only thing that's driving this market's XRP's price up is actual utility, implementation, and the golden goose of our ecosystem being whenever financial institutions decide that it's now safe for them to custody XRP. That will also be a very big trigger for price movement. But I don't see retail investors such as myself or probably anybody that listens to my content actually causing a positive impact on the price. And that's the only way that news such as this would actually affect the price of XRP. So for many people out there wondering why the price doesn't go up, when we get great news like this, it's because most of us have already put in by and large, the most amount that we're willing to put in, and we're maybe just dollar cost averaging in on a weekly or monthly basis, regardless of the news. And so that's not going to have a major impact on the price. If anything, it just helps keep the price stable, and maybe we'll start to see slow growth as the last of the bears are liquidated out of our ecosystem. At any rate, let's jump back into the article here. So Bank of America acknowledges Ripple. A major XRP follower on Twitter who goes by the name BankXRP, great individual, awesome source of news. If you aren't following at BankXRP on Twitter, you absolutely should. But I digress. He shared a screenshot from a document of Bank of America. In it, one of the world's largest banks calls Ripple as an example of an innovative technology. The document in particular says, innovation example, Ripple cross-border solution. Ripple's distributed ledger solution remedies legacy correspondent banking infrastructure challenges and provides bidirectional messaging to enhance payment tracking, data transmission, and enables enhanced certainty in settlements. And so here is BankXRP's tweet, along with a little graphic. If you're free to look at your screen, check it out. This basically just overshows how payments operate right now, moving through the correspondent banking system, versus how they would operate if they moved through a decentralized ledger or distributed ledger technology, which at the end of the day is really Bank of America saying that XRP, the XRP ledger, is an innovative technology, not so much just Ripple, but specifically their technologies surrounding XRP, because that's really what this infographic is showing. So Ripple also has gotten acknowledged by SWIFT. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, Ripple is not trying to oppose the current financial system with banks and governments. It is doing its best to become integrated into it. This year, over 300 banks and payment platforms have started trialing Ripple's Xcurrent and on-demand liquidity, ODL. However, the major rivals, such as the SWIFT system, that many in the crypto community believe will be replaced by Ripple one day, still refuse any sort of collaboration. Formally, as reported by U.Today earlier, SWIFT has approved of Ripple's ODL low cost and high speed, but still stated that this technology is too young and read as imperfect to be used on a global scale. So back to Bank of America. Previously, U.Today shared the news with the community that B of A publicly admitted testing a product based on Ripple's XRP ledger. It is called simply the Ripple project. In fact, the fact that the fact was confirmed by B of A's spokesperson. However, the same person confirmed that the institution does not plan to start using XRP yet. So, despite welcoming Ripple, Bank of America keeps opposing Bitcoin and other crypto. Recently, U-Today reported that the bank closed the account of the Tron CEO Justin Sun and the former PayPal top executive, an influential venture capitalist, Roelof Botha. So the account of the latter was shut down, assumingly because he had purchased Bitcoin through it. So, everybody in the space needs to keep in mind that just because these financial institutions may be warming up to Ripple and potentially to XRP, that does not mean that they are going to be welcoming to crypto at large. And this actually goes hand in hand with why I often am very critical of Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies. It's not from a matter of being an elitist or simply trying to convince people to buy into XRP versus Bitcoin because I hold more XRP than Bitcoin. Now I don't hold any Bitcoin, as many of you who follow me know. It's simply because I do not see a point in time where financial institutions are going to make it feasible for the general public to engage in utilizing or in using Bitcoin. And so I think that same issue is going to arise for large companies that are even in the talks of testing the use of Bitcoin for payments, such as Starbucks, we know, largely due to the transaction costs that are going to be associated with purchases made on that. So hopefully everybody understands that when I'm critical of XRP, it's not because, or of Bitcoin rather, it's once again not because I'm trying to be an elitist or because I'm trying to bash Bitcoin as a store of value. I think that as a store of value, it still has potential. However, Pokemon cards, baseball cards, old toys from like the 80s and 90s that are still in their boxes, those are stores of value as well. And so while Bitcoin might be a great store of value, just like Pokemon cards and baseball cards, they are not good means of exchange, of purchasing, of using for currency. So until we see further development in the Lightning Network actually being, the Lightning Network actually showing signs of being a successful platform, my position on Bitcoin will still stand as being overall bearish as far as seeing price maturity. However, I do think that Bitcoin may be able to maintain price stability in the range that it has moved in over the last few years. That being, I think that Bitcoin is stable around $5,000 to $10,000, but I don't see it really spending a lot of time below or above those price ranges, at least for now. We'll see what the halvening does this coming year, how that affects the price. Historically, that is bullish for Bitcoin, but there's also no strong evidence that correlation is causative, as much as historically the price of Bitcoin has just appreciated year on end. And so obviously since it appreciates year on end, on the years where it halves, it's still appreciating. On the years where it doesn't halve, it still appreciates, right? Now, that might not seem to hold true over the last 2 years since the 2017 bull run, but when you take into consideration the average price of Bitcoin over those years, it still has appreciated in value on an average, right? And that is also why it's important, just to throw in here at the end of the video, that regardless of what digital asset you are becoming involved with, I always recommend to everybody that you dollar cost average into this market if you're involved, if you are becoming involved, if you intend to be an investor for the long term. That way you can, even if you bought at a low price, the idea is that you want to keep entering into the market to build your position and keep your average entry as low as possible, so that if you did unfortunately buy at a higher price, you can lower your average entry by buying in at a lower price that will bring your average, between those two purchases or multiple purchases if you make a habit out of this. It also helps that when you do this, that you're not going to be putting more than you can afford to lose at any one time, so that you are not as emotionally attached to your investment, and that way you do not make stupid mistakes when it comes to the volatility of this market. You become more numb to the funds, and you simply become excited when you see the price grow, as opposed to when it goes down, you're like, did I buy this week? Now I can buy in lower, bring my average lower, and then my percentage yield will be greater whenever the market rallies. Now again, this is not financial advice. This is simply the way that I participate in this market. So if you wish to engage in investing, please do this on your own. Seek out your own plan. Again, what I've shared with you is simply my way of investing into the digital assets, and essentially my reasoning for why I do such, right? So at any rate, I hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you have, as always, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ring that bell so you can be notified of my newest video. And typically it's always going to be on XRP, but we're also going to start branching out into other content over the coming days and weeks, so that I can hopefully start growing the channel into a more tech news broad topics. We're going to start covering some news regarding Tesla, because there's all kinds of hype around it right now, especially with the Cybertruck. So hopefully anybody out there that enjoys my content in general, be sure to check out my Tesla videos that we're going to start doing. And I will see you guys, as always, in the next one on Mars.